Obviously, it hasn't made that much of an impact, or maybe it's just not catching on too much. When we talked about it, the SMG is a little bit more impactful versus that revolver, so I don't blame them for not using it as much. But, hey, we've seen a lot more fast-paced action. Also, the battle bus moving, I believe, what, 15% quicker? So that's made a little bit of an impact overall. But, hey, what else? The floating island, Dusty Diner, been the biggest areas tilted as well. I would love to see a Valhalla drop, but it may not come to fruition. But one thing is for certain, it's definitely a lot faster pace, and I'm enjoying it. But finals are underway. It is a qualifier finals, and I am excited to see it. Who's going to take home $5,000? Let's find out where we drop in.
It looks as if, based off a few of the positions on the map, we could be seeing someone of a different location. And I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of excited about that. It's nice that we're going to be seeing places like Retail Row be brought throughout the game, but it looks like for DrDios and FlyingMat, they have their focus, it looks like, on Dusty, while we're going to be seeing KsoNNN EkujukE make their way toward Retail Row. We talk about retail. It is a very expensive place to shop at because of how many players are here. There can be some great, deals from time to time. You can find some loot from at certain moments, but I think we just switched off someone who was very, very close to finding an engagement. And yes, KsoNNN will fall very early on. He thought he was a lone soldier when it came down to a particular portion of the map, but now it's on his teammate. It looks like it is going to be EkujukE on our screens. Pulls out the pump and has to go for the kill. Will successfully take down one, but it's only a knock. There are plenty of players left. And just like that, the very first elim of the game comes down on KsoNNN. He's out. Permanent 1v2 to start off game one of the finals. That is a nightmare for this team. Not even putting puns in a case here because it's Halloween, but it really is a nightmare.
No, it definitely is. How many times have we talked about retail being that drop that it doesn't matter how good you are, there's so much randomness that happens inside of retail. You never know what's going to happen. That's why I am not a fan of landing retail regardless who I am playing with or what I'm playing for. KsoNNN going down, already showing the dark horse of DrDios and FlyingMat are poised to potentially take over this game. KsoNNN, I don't think, had any eliminations, so we're sitting at a total of 1 for the boys of KsoNNN and EkujukE. It is going to be, hopefully he'll be able to go pound for pound, but you already know, the disadvantage, being a man down this early on, it hurts.
Oh, it absolutely does. And for DrDios and FlyingMat, I mean, you could argue they don't have to play nearly as aggressive. They don't have to play nearly as, groundbreaking. They don't have to challenge anything that's too awkward for them. They can kind of make their plays and kind of progress on as if it was a regular match because of the fact that they're going to have so much more vision. They're going to have a massive advantage when it comes to facing off against certain players. And what I would say for DrDios, right, since you do not, or excuse me, for KsoNNN, right, since he's down in this game, I would argue, right, if you're in EkujukE's position, I really wouldn't hate on the strategy of just joining along with the other two. You could have a few shots that maybe escape, past the opponents. You could maybe find a pop shot here or there that could find some players. But facing off again in 1v4 squad matches is not going to be an easy task whatsoever. I mean, you're going to have to pull off a feat that not many, if hardly any players in Sunday Showdown history have ever been able to make happen. I mean, I think I relate to a few in the past where we've seen Gaffo, I think in week 4, make a pretty crazy push. I think in week 3 we saw Tinney on Vicstar's team, but let alone Tinney make a play happen in a 1v2. But like I said, those are only 2 examples in so many other matches that we've witnessed. I think for EkujukE in this situation, you try to find as many elims that you can, but you have to be very careful about it and debate on joining the other 2 players.
Look at EkujukE getting around this player so incredibly fast. If he wouldn't have hit that wall, he would have been just behind him and been able to get him in the back with the shotgun, but unfortunately he's dropping down. So that play, unfortunately, is for nothing at this point unless he can recover it. But one thing that, oh, hello. What is up with these players just sitting? That is Christmas in a box if I've ever seen it. It's not even Christmas yet, and it was just brought early.
Billy and Jonathan, it's time for lunch. That's what's calling out right now. Mom, man, Mom's going to stop calling out for kitchen. Got to stop calling out for lunches,
hey, look,
right?
Listen.
Because you're letting players die like that. You're letting your kids get eliminated in Fortnite.
But there's nothing better than Mom's cooking. Can we agree on that?
For sure.
Hey, look, if Mom says there's food ready, I'm running.
I would be too. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna play for the win. But my goodness, man, what a gift that is for EkujukE. I talked about how he needs to join alongside the other 2 players. But if you're going to keep finding children who are AFK, I mean, hey, might as well, right? Might as well try to go for the elims at that point. But probably spotting that in the kill feed, we're going to immediately notice that Dios and FlyingMat are going to probably try to use this advantage point to try to gain some vision and try to get toward a different point of the map to make sure that what should be a lead heading into Game 2 will be an established one at that, as they might be making their way toward the farm. It's kind of odd, to be honest with you, Taylor. I feel like so far throughout Week 6, we've only seen probably like 25% of the map actually be utilized, and I think this is the first time we're actually seeing Fatal Fields be brought out here in Week 6.
It is absolutely the first time. We've only seen Pleasant, Tilted, and some other areas. I'll put that on hold, but battle going down. Dios trying to get ahead of FlyingMat, trying to get this player before he disappears in the cornfields. We noticed that there is going to be a player potentially jumping on him. He's at 51 health. He's taking a lot. Maybe he himself will run away. Slurp Juice just in front of him, but he's not going to have an opportunity to get him. That player drops down. Phenomenal elimination, or excuse me, knock. He's not going to be able to get the full knock. There it is. Finally, he gets the elimination, but he's got to watch out. Players are going to be just ahead of him. He's sitting at a total of 35 health. There is a Slurp Juice just behind him. FlyingMat at this point, regardless if they're on opposite teams, might be his savior.
Not a whole lot of HP, like you mentioned.
There is a Porta Fortress, though.
He's got some great items just around him, but of course we can't hear exactly what he's hearing. He probably hears players running around him, and yes, there's someone who's probably rocking that exact same Slurp Juice just behind him, taken down, and that will be an elimination, as they might be able to kind of come from that ground, be able to come from that cover, and look at the sunshine, because that was a long-awaited elimination toward the bottom side of the map, but it looks as if the elims are not about to slow down anytime soon on the opposite team here. Nice shot coming through from Juke. Immediately needs to focus his attention, however, toward the high ground that he currently does not possess. Tries to change it up, but like he calls out, no mats, no go. Needs to go down toward the bottom side of these builds and try to reassess the situation, because he's not going to be able to fight that one anytime soon. Keeping in mind, he's in a 1v2. He needs to stay alive. His life is more important than trying to find this specific elimination.
I want to go back to DrDios as we're kind of observing what's happening here. The fact that he got out of that situation with just only 17, or I believe, 35 total health was phenomenal. The way that he was editing his ramp to come through, his situational awareness of listening to what was around him is what made all the difference. If it were me, I would have used that Porta Fortress and slammed it down, but then again, that would also gave up my position, and who knows where the Porta Fortress was going to land at that point. But let's go back to the situation at hand. Juke in a very awkward position. He has no mats. He's also relatively low on health. This player, he's going to continue to build up. As we see Juke looking like he wants to kind of take down all these builds. He does have a grappler. He can trade out his quad launcher for that, which doesn't have any ammunition. There it is. Finally, Grappler's going to be out there. Little awkward transition. Will he go to the top? Well, we'll find out as we keep hearing him say, I have 0 mats. I have 0 mats.
He's like, come on, man. Pick on somebody your own height. Like, I'm literally on floor 1. I don't have an elevator to get to you. This fight needs to be an even one. But an unfortunate position on one side as we transfer to the other. Salty Springs seems to be the location as they make their way from Fatal Fields now to this particular point of view, but it looks as if it will be a nice shot coming in from Dios. He finds one knock, and there's going to be the second. Trying to finish off these players, as with those being knocks, there's got to be at least one more player around, and I believe we do see the pumpkin launcher potentially being brought out, or some type of explode to that point. And with that high advantage at any point, he could skyrocket down to find the elim, and just like that, will make it happen. However, Juke is down. The kill will come from it, but just like that, in a matter of moments, 2 players fall, and now we have Dios all by himself.
Yep, Dios all by himself to kind of run through the lobby as he pleases to get some of that extra credit. He's had a great game. 8 eliminations to his name. His partner didn't do too bad himself. And now it's all up to him. How many more points can he get to kind of pad the stats to go into round number 2? He's going to go ahead and drink a slurp, have some minis, 5 of them, not too bad. And so just continue looking on. He's probably going to build up and just maybe potentially fly away. I think he might have a launch pad, or maybe so. Even if he doesn't, it's all right. He'll just go ahead and dip out of there. I know he's got a little bit of ground to cover, as he'll take one last peek around before he kind of dives off into the abyss to see what's lies ahead. I was like, he's using a lot of mats, but you know what? He's all right. He's sitting at 9-3-3. Not too bad. He's way up there. Honestly, it almost looked like he was kind of trying to bait out a shot.
Yeah, that also could be a strategy as well. I didn't really think of it that way, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you start to see those shots come in from a certain direction, you could spot a few players who don't realize that the instant redeploy comes through. But it looks like we're gonna have a replay on our screen to see exactly how Juke departed from the game, and what a shot that comes in. That is such an unfortunate way to go out.
Absolutely.
He was looking so strong when it came down to that particular POI, but does see an early exit. And speaking of exits, I want to say Dios needs to be very careful. Granted, he is being fully aware of the storm, but at the same time, venturing inside of Tilted Towers is such a risky play to make. But with that in mind, he is the Lone Ranger, and there is no teammates to help him out in this situation. The spotlight is going to be on him to try to hold on to the slim advantage that he could possibly have at this time, but making his way toward the wind tunnel, and I believe there is a few players who could be sailing around the tornado, as he will try to seek these out. And like we talked about, Taylor, constantly when you're in these situations, it's about finding that 1v1 situation, right? When you're in multiple games, right? In Counter-Strike, even in Call of Duty as well, trying to limit the numbers when you're at a disadvantage is always the way to go, and we'll see whether or not Dios can activate those particular strategies.
Going off once again into the distance, using that floating island to his advantage. A spot we've seen used so many times throughout Week 6 here. The Legion Sunday Showdown, as he'll be heading towards Tomato. May even go over towards Crates, depending. Not too sure where anybody's going to be. I do think I saw some builds and shots off in a distance, and he'll go ahead and come in and try and 3P this. And wisely looking to take the high ground. Very smart decision on his part, as he can just peer down at his opponents. The rocket launcher is out, and he's going to be raining shots from below. As there he is, going to take off some of the shield. Fires one rocket, and now he's going to be down below. Players building a nice little 1x1. They can also dip off to the left.
Oh, no.
And, yep, that player's going for the res, and that should be an elimination, and is it in fact going to be one, as he'll continue to drop down to try and finish off the rest of these players. Not able to get it just yet. He's got to watch out, though. Rockets are going to be coming from above, as now he's going to be in a situation his enemies were just in just a second ago, as he was raining rockets down below. And this is a big elimination. Is he going to be able to get it? Gets to knock. Not able to get the full thirst. There it is, as the completion is going to happen. And another player is going to be coming in, and shots. Phenomenal work coming in, as another player is going to drop in. Is he going to be able to get this himself? And no, he's not. And he doesn't get the full elim on that opponent, as that is unfortunately not going to be 10 but 9, but still an impressive turn of events. As Landon, it looks like our prediction might be wrong here of KsoNNN EkujukE. Dios and FlyingMat might have the lead going in. We're about to have the score updated, but what a great performance from DrDios, at least being the last one alive in those last remaining eliminations. He performed incredibly well.
Yeah, he did all he could, right? He had a great vantage point, and I was getting ready to kind of target and point out like how great of a position that he was in, because he was constantly highlighting that high ground. Despite that, though, there were just too many opponents. There were too many enemies, and as Taylor makes note of it, just below myself, we got a 14-5 advantage. They're going to be coming into this next game for DrDios and FlyingMat. I think 9 of those 14 come from DrDios himself. So the Doctor, without question, was in today. Granted, he might not be in very often, but once a week is all we need for Dios. But my goodness, man, this team comes to the qualifiers. They're making a strong presence when it comes down to this game, ruining our predictions for now. However, we do have to constantly harp on the fact that a teammate goes down totally changes up the strategies. Thankfully for Dios and Matt, they had one player to spare, right? Matt goes down, not the biggest deal in the world, because they still have Dios who's up. Unfortunately for Juke in that situation, once he falls, unfortunately KsoNNN saw an early exit, so he was the last guy trying to make plays happen. He saw a few AFKs sitting inside of crates, and as well throughout other places around the map. That's all you're going to get guaranteed when it comes down to a squad game. And like I said, not even guarantees, right? Those don't happen very often, so that's the only thing that he could really rely on. But 14-5 heading into this next game. KsoNNN and Juke, they're going to be the guys who are down. Is that enough to make a full-on split toward 2 different locations, or do you think they're going to continue to go toward Floating Island?
Full-on split. You have to. Honestly, we haven't seen that yet, and I don't know why we haven't. So, you know, going back to the infamous spot of Dusty, where we saw the team, they were down 10 eliminations. I believe who it was. It was Desmond and Attract. at some point, or maybe even another round. But I know they were in Dusty. They should have broke off. That would have made all the difference in the world. Splitting here would do just that, being down 9 eliminations. That is enough to warrant a split. But you ask me, will we see Floating Island? Wouldn't surprise me if we do see all 4 going to Floating Island, only because of the fact that's been really the comfort spot for these teams. As we'll get through the cinematics and kind of see where the bus is going to be heading through the map. I'm kind of curious to see the trajectory and where we could be potentially seeing some landing spots. But yeah, this is it's going to be a big round for KsoNNN. KsoNNN, the first time in the finals himself. He's been trying throughout the weeks. Now he's here, and he's trying to make the most of it. Dead center is the drop, and it looks like Floating Island is going to be marked on all sides of the teams, and that's where we're heading to, Landon.
And I would say for KsoNNN, right, they're going to be down 5-14 coming into this game. Where do you go? And I would say, like I said, once they go toward Floating Island, this is really just for quick loot. It's a matter of just these quick little reactions is all they're going to be going for. But once they find the loot, they have to dip, right? They need to dip and try to find maybe an opportunity to go toward Tilted Towers, to try to go toward different vantage points, because they have to get in and get out as quickly as possible. Thankfully, an unfortunate Tfue lookalike will be taken down early on in this game. That will be the first blood and the first elimination. Thankfully, that one will be on the side of KsoNNN, but they need much more than that to even bring this one to a close match. But it looks as if there could be another player just in the vantage point. All 3 bullets from the common burst assault rifle are going to land. Phenomenal stuff, and he could be finding a 3rd one, Taylor. This is what they need, as that's going to be another one found as well.
You
My
talk
goodness.
about a strong start. He is getting it going. 3 eliminations, and I believe his teammate was able to pick up one himself. I have never seen a common burst in the hands of somebody more deadly other than KsoNNN. Look at him, just landing shots left and right. He knows this player is one shot. DJ Yonder's going to get at least knocked. He's going to go ahead and float all the way down.
Wow.
You talk about just accuracy.
He is not missing.
He's not. He's literally not. He's literally not. Juke trying to pick up some eliminations himself. Juke's sitting at a total of 1. So 4 on the left. You talk about making a comeback. They came in 9 eliminations down. All great inventory. He can't be stopped.
Yeah, that's a very scary start if you are a fan of DrDios or FlyingMat, or even are those particular 2 players themselves, right? As it looks like another one's going to be found for KsoNNN, a player admiring the waves, admiring the textures, probably in a high graphic settings. Despite that, though, it looks like it is going to be another player spotted, and just like that, Juke. Was that a bullet and a half, probably, that managed to fire out from that suppressed assault rifle, making it look like the bloom no longer exists in the game? But my goodness, finding quite a few players when it comes in a Floating Island, as it looks like we could be seeing very shortly, probably, what, in the next minute or so, players start to focus their attention elsewhere. And that's the question we're asking right now. Being down in this game for KsoNNN, Juke, I mean, their deficit is starting to decrease quite a bit, but where do they go from here? Do they go toward Tilted Towers?
Well, Juke looks like he's going to be pursuing one opponent just up ahead. A lot of craziness happening just next to DrBurger. That's going to be 1 knock for Juke, and he's going to go ahead and get the full elim. Rifts just up ahead. It's going to give him the potential to rotate out. Where are they going to go from here? Pleasant just behind him, but no, we haven't seen Pleasant too much. Of course, that's not where a lot of opponents tend to kind of flock. But no, excuse me, they will in fact be heading over. I'm seeing a Porta Fortress. A Porta Fort is down. You hear the constant communication. They're only down 4 eliminations, and they keep pushing forward. As there's going to be a couple of players just below him. One player's going to grapple right in front of him. Unfortunately, he's going to miss his shot, but he's going to go ahead and capitalize again by getting the knock, but not going for the full elim as of yet. He's pursuing forward, knowing there's a player just up ahead inside the brick house. They're not stopping. These are huge eliminations. That's 1 more knock. He just got a full squad wipe by himself. That is what I'm talking about. You talk about catching up. They are doing just that.
Trick or treat, my friends. Pleasant Park is a very big location. As you hear, we're up. We just took the lead. They've got to be at least around that position because, my goodness, like you talked about, Taylor, 9 elimination lead out the window in a matter of seconds. Half the lobby hasn't even been cleared yet, and they've already erased what was nearly a double-digit lead.
Yep.
My word, what are we seeing right now from KsoNNN and EkujukE? We talked about it. These are all of these players' first opportunity in the finals. KsoNNN has tried to get here so many times, but now could be his opportunity as we start to see the rift coming into play as all 4 of our players are seeking out different opportunities. For Dios and Matt, they're making their way toward Tilted Towers. For KsoNNN and EkujukE, we'll see where they decide to go, but all focus on Dios and Matt right now. Their lead is gone. How do they react?
Well, Tilted seems to be the way to go. Just 1 up, not a lot. Tilted, an area where a lot can happen. You got to watch out for those traps, have to watch out for those players. And you notice he's lost the high ground. Player just above him as well as in front. He chooses to dip out. Dios knows he's got to go big. The communication coming in. Will he be able to overtake this high ground? He's very wildly exposed, and he's running out of mats. He's only sitting at 1
They got every kill, bro.
for his wood. You hear him talking about the frustration. They've got every elimination, right? They're talking, of course, about their team or their enemies of KsoNNN and EkujukE. Trap just up ahead. He's going to shoot, but like I said, he's still exposed. All it takes is 1 snipe from the distance for him to get dropped. They've got to be careful. We're going to go out on EkujukE's perspective. They're not slowing down. That's going to be 1 knock. He knew that player was right in front of him. You talk about being at least confident in your shot. EkujukE, another squad wipe. He's sitting at 10 elimination, and now there is absolutely no question that is going to be EkujukE and KsoNNN with the lead. Dios and FlyingMat now with that 9 elimination lead gone. They're now on the opposite end of the spectrum. They've got to make this comeback possible. Where are they going to go from here? Tilted, it's already been cleared out. They've got to keep going.
I was going to say, I love that play from EkujukE, that we got an opportunity to see that player. I imagine he looks over at that guy, like whispers in his ear, and he's like, hey, man, you see that guy shooting the other, one of our teammates? That's crazy, right? The guy turns around, right, just like that, tack shot to the face, as that is savage play coming in from EkujukE. But on the opposite end, where we talk about KsoNNN and Matt, for Dios and Matt, how are they going to respond? And like you talked about, Tilted Towers, it's clear we need to see a different vantage point. We need to rotate. POIs need to be seen as we have got a game on our hands. Definitely the most entertaining one up to this point, and thankfully it comes at the very last second. Grand Finals, definitely a name that describes this very, very well. As the ramps continue to be built, locations continue to be sought after, as we could be seeing all 4 players actually join up fairly close to one another.
Yeah, and not a bad thing already. Communication coming out as we're going to be still on board with KsoNNN. Shots are fired wildly. Dr. Dios, he's going to go ahead and get a knock. Players just on that bottom end of Salty. Everybody trying to converge here. That's going to be Matt. He's going to pick up a knock himself. KsoNNN not able to find anybody. Matt with another knock as they are making this comeback possible. Dios getting a knock, a full elimination. They are getting every single one, obviously showing the convergence for KsoNNN and EkujukE not paying off whatsoever. Dios and Matt with those eliminations are going to get close to tying it up, if not taking over the lead. They are fighting tooth and nail, all 4 players up. It's going to come down to the final few eliminations. It has to at this point. Both teams playing so incredibly well.
They are walking through everybody. I want to say, once this game comes to a close, granted, whoever wins, congratulations, because that was one heck of a feat, but maybe these guys should be thinking about teaming up in the future for squad games, because that would be one heck of a lineup, that's for sure. So, like, once this game comes to a close, maybe not just being Fortnite teammates, but real-life teammates would be a decent venture throughout the prize pool that Fortnite has to offer. But my goodness, is we are going to see at least one player decide to separate from the pack. That's actually going to be KsoNNN, and probably will be joined alongside by EkujukE here shortly, as they're going to go ahead and settle down here toward just the western side of Fatal Fields and look on from there. As for Dios and Matt, they're not very far off either. So kind of all 4 players sticking around the same strategies, wanting to see the same calls, which for us, I mean, that keeps it to a great level for us, because we get to know that these players are going to constantly see the same players, and it's going to consistently be close. No surprise, not even adding in the factor of RNG whatsoever, as that will be another elim found, and continuing to seek on as they add to their very impressive total, Taylor.
Going towards the desert area, still pushing forward. Dr. Dios knows he needs to match up with KsoNNN. Try to spot this head of that player. Unfortunately, just misses that. Was a great defensive wall from his opponent just up ahead. Will he go for round number 2 with the sniper? He's got to reload it. but all in the meantime, KsoNNN is going to be building up,
There's two.
and they're going to be pushing forward. There's going to be two just up ahead. DrDios going in on the full attack. Player up ahead. Matt's going to pick up one of them, and that's all right. Dios is going to be grateful for that. Matt picks up yet another one. That's going to be one more knock. Can the third one come in? And Matt gets a full squad wipe himself to continue the score moving forward. And with that being said, they do, in fact, have the lead as they are looking incredibly solid. KsoNNEkujukE, for the past couple of minutes now, have not been able to get a single knock or elimination because Dios and FlyingMat have been running through these running through these opponents, Landon.
My goodness, what a game we are witnessing. Back and forth we go. Just when we start to say KsoNNEkujukE, they're looking pretty solid. They take down a squad. We just see FlyingMat come through and take down an entire team of his own as we get to see the quad crasher being brought out from KsoNNN. He's wrecking and causing havoc. But we do have an official scoreboard on our screen at 26-19 as it will be Dios and FlyingMat who are in the driver's seat. Despite what you might see on your screens, it looks like we are going to be seeing for a minute the ATK get brought out, but that's going to be a very quickly lived joyride as the ramps are going to continue to be built. And the information looks to try to be sought after yet again, but like you said,
that's a 10 elimination lead, and there's only 10 eliminations remaining.
Yeah, we can still do it.
They literally, you hear them, they say they can still do it. I appreciate the positivity, but they have to get every single elimination from this point forward. If anybody drops off, that's going to be it. And they'll be keep pushing forward as hopefully no one's going to drop from the map, whether it be from DrDios or FlyingMat, as FlyingMat just gets a knock.
Yeah.
And
there goes
DrDios gets another knock himself. That's not a full elimination as of yet, though. So still potential for those players to get rezzed, but they do need a miracle. DrDios, FlyingMat finally get the eliminations, and that is, in fact, probably going to be it. I think it is, in fact, mathematically impossible. We're going to still check with DrDios to see what he's going to be up to, just kind of not slowing down a little bit. He's going to get some hills up. Not bad. Another player is going to be eliminated, as you see on that bottom left-hand corner. That's going to be a total of 6 more eliminations still remaining to be had. But with that being said, you just heard them say we won, and yes, they did in fact win. DrDios and FlyingMat, it was looking so incredibly scary for them, Landon.
It was.
But KsoNNEkujukE not able to do it in the end despite the valiant effort. Dios, FlyingMat, they're going to be your Week 6 Legion Sunday Showdown champions and taking home $5,000, but not bad for KsoNNEkujukE themselves. Finally, KsoNNN making the finals, and they're getting $3,000 in their pocket.
I love that reaction that we hear from Matt and Dios, right? Because you hear Matt call it and say, "Bro, we won," and he's like, "We did?" He's like, "Yeah, we actually did it." What a phenomenal story it was for these guys coming into it. They were the qualifier #2 winners. One of our many qualifier teams who were represented in our top 4, but despite having a 9 elimination advantage, it looked to be a pretty awkward spot for them, right? That was quickly foiled. And we saw KsoNNEkujukE put on one heck of a performance, one that will definitely be one to look at for a while. I'm going to be revisiting that one on YouTube quite a bit by going to youtube.com/UMG events. Had to throw the plug in there. But a solid performance coming through from both of our teams. But like you said, Taylor, it will be Dios and Matt who walk away with the victory and will be week #6 champions out of 6 weeks. That is now, I think, 3 teams who have won the entire thing who are qualifier teams. Just yet again, another stat to throw out there. The qualifier teams have racked up a ton of cash, and they won half of the tournaments that we've had to offer.